I'm going to just start out with some good news, and I'm happy to see my first order of good news sitting out in front of me. I'd like to welcome and introduce to you our new Lakeshore Campus Dean, Jesus Ruiz. Jesus, stand up. Yeah. Jesus started last week. He's a longtime resident of Lake County and a Waukegan High School graduate. He comes to CLC most recently from Rosalind Franklin University, where his work was focused around building a student pipeline and programs for underrepresented communities. Jesus is well known and has built a strong reputation in the community, as evidenced by my experience over the past few weeks with excitement in community organizations, legislators, and workforce partners. Every spot I've gone, someone has said to me, "Hey, you just hired Jesus. We're so excited about that." So it's been really great to know his name is out there. He's currently completing his PhD in educational administration with some emphasis in equity work at Illinois State University. So we're very pleased to have him on our team.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
The red bird.
And then some other kudos I'd like to share. Sharon Sanders-Fanier and the CLC Trio Educational Talent Search team is being awarded the Best of the Best award in partnerships from the Illinois Association of Park Districts, which represents over 450 recreation organizations. CLC Trio ETS has partnered with the Buffalo Grove Park District for their Parks and Rec Career Expo Day program, and they'll attend the awards ceremony on November 1st in Wheeling. Sue Stock, our dean in student development, was interviewed and quoted in a recent issue of Community College Journal, as well as the September issue of the Healthcare Foundation of Northern Lake County newsletter. She spoke about CLC's efforts to alleviate student stress through the reworking of our counseling, advising, and transfer center. Sindhu Thomas George, our faculty member, was the keynote speaker at the event Communicating Across Cultures, September 18th, sponsored by the Lake County Workforce Development Board and the University Center of Lake County. And then good news, it's been a sustainability kind of day. CLC is still in the top 10 in sustainability in community colleges in Illinois, and has now moved up to number 4 in, not the state, but the USA for sustainability. Yes, exclamation point, bold underline. We're excited about that. This is rated by the Association for Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Ed, who provides colleges a comprehensive benchmark for sustainability that we can measure our efforts with those of our peers. Through our team's efforts, we are achieving our aspiration to be a higher education organization by which others measure themselves in sustainability. So good work, team. The team wanted to make note of recognition for Gary Morgan, who is a retiree. You may recall Gary retired as the Dean of EMS Division in 2012, but Gary has been working hard as a key player in our grant work. Working on the National STEM Consortium Mechatronics grant, which essentially helped us build our mechatronics programming, has worked on the National Science Foundation Collaborate grant, and also recently helped in the writing of our newly approved National Science Foundation grant, Industry 4.0 Technicians in Advanced Manufacturing. So given all of his ongoing dedication and contributions to the college, we just wanted to make note of that today as he's helping us advance CLC's STEM agenda.
Very nice.
Changes around campus. Our gym floor will be completed thanks to the hard work of Ken and Mike Welch, really pressing that team of the contractors that we have over there will be done by October 1st. Our athletes and students are looking forward to our home floor advantage once again. And key college activities, I won't go into detail, but do you like that? We had Values Recognition Awards last week. As you know, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary week. And we've been bringing CLC employees, students, and community members together every day. And that's my measure of success right now, that at every event, we have students, employees, and community members present, and so far, so good. And today we launched the Living Lab Trail, which many of you were there. Thank you very much for that. We have Achieving the Dream coaches making their first visit to CLC on September 30th and October 1st. I just sent you an email invitation earlier this afternoon to invite you to a dinner that I'll be hosting with our coaches so that you as trustees have a chance to meet them, build a relationship with them, and ask whatever questions you may want. So if you could reply to that email so that we know how many of you can participate with us. A couple more things. We kicked off our Vice President of Education search. The search committee is currently reviewing applications. They'll be meeting this week to determine the applicants for the first round of interviews. I believe we received just under 50 applications, 32 of which were considered preferred candidates according to the standards that the team established at the beginning of the search. I just want to mention the United Way today kicked off its 211 program. We shared information with you about that previously. This is a big, hairy deal for Lake County. There are not many counties in the state of Illinois who have this, but Illinois is one of the states in the U.S. that do not have 211. And so Lake County rolling this out with the shared resources amongst many groups, including the Lake County Board, to bring this resource to our communities is absolutely critical. I do want to recognize and thank both Karen Lavin and Tammy Morales, our Assistant Director in Student Development. They were both a part of CLC's participation in this program's soft launch, and today I had numerous people coming up to me at the kickoff just giving accolades to Karen and Tammy for their work, so I just want to acknowledge their effort. Provided at your place, you have last month's student and ed affairs updates about the great work of our students, staff, and faculty. And I also want to call attention, Allie O'Brien has prepared for you an overview of the Transform Lake County grant. That is the $1.5 million grant that we recently received from ICCB and is an agenda item this evening. There are 9 programs you'll see outlined that we will be delivering on this really aggressive timeline. We have less than 11 months to deploy this grant, and I know that the team is up for the challenge. So, and speaking of student success, I'm going to transition into our first topic and brief update for you. We just want to keep the board informed on our international education work that we have going on at the college. So Jacob Cushing, our International Education Director, is going to give you a brief overview so that there's a ton going on here.
So I will keep it brief,
yes.
I promise. There it is. Great, so good evening. I am thrilled to share with you some updates about international education. And I'm very excited to introduce to you my team. And they're not able to be here in person, but for good reason. So I put a picture up there because we're all new as part of this, the new Center for International Education in the past year. Myself, I'm the director of the CIE. Lindsay Hobson is on the far right. She's our international student advisor, deals with immigration and visas with our students. Her and Stephanie Enriquez, our senior administrative assistant, are currently at a Zumba event with some of our international students. So I got to get out of that. Thank you for letting me. And Colleen Gray is traveling Southeast Asia, promoting the College of Lake County recruiting for us. And as of yesterday, has successfully recruited a student from Cambodia, which is wonderful, utilizing some of our scholarship opportunities that we have for international students. In addition to that, we have these wonderful 7 peer mentors that work in our office and support our retention initiatives. They're from Cameroon, China, France, Honduras, South Korea, and we have an honors student there in the bottom right. Her name's Maddie from the USA. And this is a huge part of our academic success and retention work that we do with our international students. These are the many facets that the Center for International Education is involved with, and to this I should possibly add welcoming international loyalty. And in addition to student recruitment, admission, student services, retention, international education, exchange of partnerships, and supporting faculty for international opportunities, grants, and for helping internationalize the curriculum. I'll mention briefly into the financial impact that international students have onto the country. So there was well over 1 million international students studying between 2018 and 2019. They contributed $39 billion to the U.S. economy and supported 450,622 jobs. As far as community college impact and the international students enrolled at community college, there was over 94,000 of them, which was a $2.7 billion economic input and supported over 15,000 jobs. And I'll note that this is a very impressive number for community college enrollment. This marks a 2% decline and is on trend over the past 3 to 4 years of new international student enrollment decline in the United States. This specifically is information for Congressional District 10 and highlights the College of Lake County international students' contribution to the Lake County community at $3.3 million and supports 20 jobs, of which I'm one of them, so thank you. Specifically, the impact at CLC for the last academic year, we had 108 international students. The tuition revenue from these students was over $870,000. For this fall 2019 enrollment, we have 84 students representing 34 countries. The tuition revenue is over $460,000, and I'll note, due to the work of my incredible team and our peer mentors, we had an 85% retention rate for this semester, which was our goal, which is just wonderful. This is a slide I am so happy to show you. This is the reach that CLC has, and I'll use the phrase that Jeff Stomper likes to use, that the sun never sets at CLC, and this shows it. Sorry. In addition to the financial aspect of our international students, the immeasurable impact of having them in their classroom and building intercultural competencies for our students and our faculty members is a blessing, and I have to say I think I have one of the most rewarding jobs at the college for being able to work with and support these students. Oh, that's an animation I didn't know was there, but it looks good. Next, I'd like to talk to you about our study abroad programs, and these are our short-term programs that we have offered for this coming year. We have 2 that are in China. There's a short-term spring break sustainability program, which is going to install a solar-powered water filtration device in rural China. It's going to be a trek through Central Europe and Ukraine, some involvement in elementary education programs in Costa Rica, a tour through Greece and Turkey, and then our very successful Japan program will run again with JJC. And that's also including our, there it is again. All right, there's our wonderful spring semester abroad program in China. I had a student here tonight that was going to give you a glimpse of his experience. His name's Christian. He had an emergency at work, so he texted me while I was sitting here, and he wanted to know if you were all meeting next month. So he didn't come talk about it. But I will say, and I saw Dr. Murphy. Dr. Murphy led this successful semester last spring. Our students came back really changed. We had one student who had never been on a plane, and the first time she got on a plane, she chose to go with CLC on a study abroad program on a 17-hour flight. So she did it, she was changed, and she could speak a little bit of Mandarin when she returned. So it was a wonderful trip. I'll also add that our average GPA of our study abroad programs, the students sit at about a 3.2 cumulative, and that is just about the same with our international students as well. I'd also tonight like to bring to the board some wonderful international education, 2 new initiatives that we're implementing, and I'm anxious to hear any feedback that you may have. One of them is a global citizenship milestone, and the other is a global community hallway here on campus. So the global citizenship milestone is a notation on the CLC transcript. It's mirroring the process that we have for PTK and our honor scholars. This requires 12 credits of IM designated courses, or 6 credits of IM, international multicultural courses paired with a study abroad experience. If students do this and they participate, they'll automatically get this notation added onto their transcript with some outreach from myself and Shanti Chu and Jill Brulman, who are spearheading this effort on the faculty side. And we've taken this to Curriculum Council, and they thought it was absolutely wonderful last week. So this is an exciting opportunity for students to engage. It repackages the international multicultural experiences that our students are getting and adds a physical component to their transcript. We're also going to help them with how to articulate these experiences on their resumes post-graduation to help them into the workforce. And we are promoting equity by offering alternative equivalent requirements for those that may not be able to afford a study abroad experience. We're still giving them a global perspective in their education. Yes?
Jacob,
Are languages included in the IM courses?
Yes.
Thank you.
So there is a language component as well that will also count, and modern languages are on board. And then we also have an additional phase to this would be called a global scholar. So we're toying with the language at it right now, but that would require a language involvement.
Awesome.
And then a certain GPA level.
Awesome.
So again, very simple. There are no curricular changes. It's repackaging what we offer and offering the students, something physical in the transcript, and we're very excited.
And this is broader than CLC. Is this within the Community College Network, Global Citizenship? Where does that fall in place? I know, for example, at the high school level, there is now a similar piece for high school transcripts.
Sure.
But that's through the ISB. Where does this come from?
Yeah, so offering an experience like this through the Community Colleges for International Development, CCID, this is one of the first steps into internationalizing the curriculum. So we don't have a specific internationalization curriculum piece structured yet, but this is the first step in kind of the launching pad.
But the transcript piece, is that unique to us, or is that part of a broader organization?
It's key to us.
Okay.
It's a milestone. We've worked with the Records Department and Jennifer Mahler. It's easily notated, and it'll be open to all students that meet these requirements. Great. I'm going to move on to our Global Community Hall. So in wanting to acknowledge the large international and diverse presence outside of just our international students here on campus, this idea really spurred from wanting to install a flag display on campus to represent our diversity. We want to remind students also selfishly about the value of study abroad opportunities and a global education. And in this initiative we're moving forward with, we're tying it to the CLC strategic pillar of equity and inclusion. We also want to represent the CLC experience for preparing students to be productive citizens in our global environment, and we think that this is, I'm going to show you a couple of the mock-ups for where this might be on campus. So on the left side of the hallway we'll have a world map, and while it's small, there are partners, our international partners around the world will be notated, and these are growing, and we have some exciting ones in the pipeline. On the left will be rotating displays that we can highlight students and faculty and programs, and the same on the left or on the right, And I've spoken with the Diversity Council and the Multicultural Student Center, and this will be a shared space for diverse programming and opportunities on campus.
Some more history with the 50th anniversary. Back in the early 90s, Student Government Association found out where all our international students were from and got a flag from that country and displayed it in what used to be the main lobby, the old main lobby. So now you have all this cool technology that's going to make it even really nicer.
I'm really excited because this is the other side of the hallway. All 196 countries represented by the United Nations will have a flag notated on the wall. There'll be a nice rotating display where we can highlight various countries throughout the year, and that will be part of our international education programming.
That's awesome.
And this has been, this idea has come through extensive partnership with Public Relations, which is a huge advocate and supporter of international education. I'm very grateful. And through speaking with various student clubs in SGA, and they're all about this idea as well. So here's what it could look like, and that's the placement of the hallway. It's the B-wing hallway that connects the student commons into where Lancer Zone is, and then the Center for International Education is just beyond that. So it's a nice entryway to our hallway. Again, I would just like to say thank you for letting me give this brief update. We have a lot of exciting things going on, and again, I feel very privileged to have this job and to bring this information to you.
So is there any federal money still to help students become parts of international education?
Federal grant opportunities?
Yes.
Yeah, so our plan was to apply for the Title VI grant that was supposed to be released this past summer, and unfortunately those funds were not released. We have a great partnership and idea and collaboration that we've spoken with Harper College, because this grant requires some kind of a partnership. But now we're looking at, in the future, hopefully involving Dr. Finger's connection with the Sheikh to involve the Dubai in his organization with it as well.
Okay,
So
great.
yes, there are grants out there, and over this coming year, we will focus on the Title VI grant, and that will fund trips and international partnership exploration.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you.